There is a silence that lives in thousands of homes, in millions of homes, actually. It is not the silence of peace. It is not the silence of two people who have nothing left to say. It is the silence of longing that has no language. I have watched this silence destroy marriages more quietly than any affair ever could. Because affairs are loud, affairs are dramatic, affairs force you to pay attention. But this silence is gentle. This silence is polite. This silence lets you believe that everything is fine while the intimacy drains out of your relationship one drop at a time. And here is the tragedy. Most men do not see it coming. Because most men have never been taught what a woman actually looks like when she wants intimacy. They have been taught by movies, by television, by things they should not have learned from. They have been taught that a woman who wants intimacy will be obvious. She will light candles. She will wear something lacy. She will use certain words. She will reach for him first. And when she does none of those things, he assumes she does not want him. But that assumption is wrong more often than it is right. Because women, especially women over 40, especially women who have spent decades caretaking, working, raising children, managing households, and carrying invisible loads, women in this season of life do not signal desire the way they did at 25. They signal it differently, more quietly, more subtly, more safely. And if you do not know what to look for, you will miss it. Every single time. Today, I want to reveal to you 3 clear signs that a woman wants intimacy with you. Signs that most men miss. Signs that she assumes you will notice. Signs that, once you learn to see them, will change everything about how you move through your marriage. Let me begin with the first sign. And it is one of the most beautiful things I have ever had the privilege of witnessing. She gives you access to her downtime. I know that does not sound romantic. Let me explain what I mean. I worked with a couple a few years ago. Their names were Walter and Anne, married for 36 years, both in their early 60s. Walter was retired. Anne was still working part-time. Walter came to see me because he felt rejected. He said, "Every time I try to get close to Anne, she says she is tired. She says not tonight. She says maybe this weekend." And then the weekend comes and she is tired again. So I asked Walter a question. When does Anne rest? I mean truly rest. Not sleep. Not collapse at the end of the day. When does she choose to rest on purpose in a way that feels good to her? Walter looked at me like I had asked him a very strange question. "I do not know," he said. "She never really rests. She is always doing something. Always folding laundry, answering emails, making lists, calling her mother, planning something." And that was the problem. Because here is what Walter did not understand. A woman who never rests cannot want intimacy. Not because she does not love you, not because she is not attracted to you, but because her nervous system is locked in a state of doing. And you cannot shift from doing to wanting without rest. So I gave Walter an assignment. I said, "For the next 2 weeks, I do not want you to initiate anything physical. Not a touch, not a kiss, not a hint. I want you to focus on one thing only, creating spaces where Anne can rest." Walter said, "What does that even mean?" I said, "It means you take something off her plate without being asked. It means you tell her to sit down while you make dinner. It means you run the bath for her. It means you take the kids or the grandkids out of the house for an afternoon. It means you stop asking her for anything and start giving her the gift of stillness." Walter thought I was giving him housework advice, not marriage advice. But he trusted me. So he tried. The first week, Anne was confused. She kept waiting for Walter to want something in return. The second week, something shifted. Anne started sitting on the couch in the middle of the afternoon. Not because she was exhausted, because she felt permission. And one evening, about 12 days into this experiment, Walter was sitting next to Anne on the couch. Neither of them was talking. The television was off. The house was quiet. Anne's head slowly came to rest on Walter's shoulder. Not a word was spoken. But that lean, that quiet surrender of her weight into his body, that was the first sign. She gave him access to her downtime. Here is the psychology behind this, and it is crucial to understand. A woman's desire is not a switch you can flip. It is a fire that needs oxygen. And the oxygen it needs is not romance. It is not candlelight. It is not expensive dinners or vacations or anything that requires more of her energy. The oxygen it needs is rest. When a woman is constantly in doing mode, her body is producing cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone of stress, of vigilance, of survival. And cortisol is the enemy of oxytocin, the bonding hormone that makes intimacy feel safe and warm. She cannot want you if her body is still trying to survive the day. But when you give her rest, when you create a space where she does not have to perform, manage, organize, or anticipate, her cortisol drops. Her nervous system shifts from protect to connect. And suddenly, desire has room to breathe. So the first sign she wants intimacy is this. She stops doing in your presence. She lets herself be still. She rests her body against yours. She closes her eyes. She exhales. That exhale? That is not tiredness. That is her body saying, I feel safe enough to want. Now let me tell you about the second sign. This one is even more subtle. And most men miss it because they are looking in the wrong direction. She initiates small, seemingly accidental touches. I am not talking about sexual touches. I am not talking about her grabbing you or pulling you toward the bedroom. I am talking about the almost invisible touches. Her hand resting on your arm while you are talking. Her fingers brushing your back as she walks past you in the kitchen. Her foot finding yours under the dinner table. Her leaning into you while you are standing in line somewhere. These touches are not accidents. They are not habits. They are not nothing. They are invitations. Let me tell you about a couple named Harold and Bernadette. Harold was 59. Bernadette was 57. Married for 32 years. Harold came to see me because he felt invisible. He said, Bernadette never touches me anymore. She used to hold my hand. She used to sit close to me on the couch. Now she sits in her own chair. She sleeps on her own side of the bed. I feel like she does not want me near her. So I asked Bernadette the same question. She looked genuinely surprised. I touch Harold all the time, she said. I put my hand on his shoulder when I walk by. I touch his back when I reach for something in the cupboard. I sit next to him on the couch every single night. I turned to Harold. Did you hear that? She says she touches you all the time. Harold shook his head. Those are not touches. Those are just movements. She is just moving through the house. And right there, in that single sentence, Harold revealed why he had been missing his wife's desire for years. He was waiting for the wrong kind of touch. He was waiting for sexual touch, for obvious touch, for touch that could not be misinterpreted. But Bernadette was not offering sexual touch. She was offering something more precious. She was offering proximity. She was offering connection. She was offering small, gentle, deniable touches that allowed her to feel close to him without feeling pressure. Because here is what Bernadette understood intuitively. If she touched Harold in a way that was too direct, too obviously sexual, she would feel like she had started something she might not have the energy to finish. She would feel like she owed him more. She would feel like her small touch was a promise she was not sure she could keep. So she touched him in small ways, safe ways, ways that allowed her to say, I want to be near you, without saying, I want to have sex right now. And Harold, because he was waiting for the second message, never heard the first. I said to Harold, for the next month, I want you to notice every single time Bernadette touches you, no matter how small, no matter how accidental it seems. I want you to notice it. And I want you to do one thing. What is that? He asked. I said, do not escalate. Do not turn her small touch into a bigger touch. Do not assume she wants more. Just notice. Just receive. Just let her small touch be enough. Harold tried this reluctantly at first, but within 2 weeks, something changed. He started noticing that Bernadette touched him dozens of times a day. Her hand on his back, her fingers on his wrist, her knee against his leg at the dinner table. And the more he noticed, the more he relaxed. The less he pressured, the less he reached for more. And one night, about 3 weeks into this experiment, Bernadette did something she had not done in years. She reached for him. Fully, clearly, unmistakably. Not because he had asked. Not because he had pressured, but because her small touches had finally been seen, and feeling seen made her feel safe, and feeling safe made her want more. This is the second sign. Small, gentle, deniable touches. She is not trying to start something. She is trying to see if you are still paying attention. She is trying to feel close to you without feeling obligated to you. She is testing the waters with her fingertips to see if the water is warm. And if you notice these small touches, if you receive them without demanding more, if you let her touch you without turning it into a transaction, she will eventually touch you more. Because feeling safe leads to wanting more. Always. Now let me tell you about the third sign. This one is the most vulnerable and the most easily missed. She talks to you about her inner world without expecting you to fix anything. I have sat with hundreds of women who said some version of this sentence. I stopped sharing my feelings with him because every time I did, he tried to solve me. not solve the problem. Solve her. She would say, I am feeling overwhelmed today. And he would say, well, have you tried making a list? Have you tried delegating more? Have you tried exercising? Have you tried talking to your friend? And she would think, I do not need a solution. I need you to hold me. I need you to say, that sounds hard. I am here. But he did not know how to do that because no one ever taught him. So she stopped sharing, and her inner world became a country he no longer had a passport to visit. And without access to her inner world, intimacy died. Because intimacy, real intimacy, the kind that makes a woman want to be physically close to you, lives in the space between her feelings and your presence. Let me tell you about a man named Leonard. Leonard was 63 years old, married to a woman named Phyllis for 39 years. Leonard came to see me because Phyllis had stopped wanting to be intimate. Not just sex, all of it. Hand-holding, cuddling, sitting close. Leonard said, I have tried everything. I have been patient. I have been kind. I have asked her what is wrong. She says nothing is wrong. She says she is fine, but she is not fine. I can feel it. So I asked Leonard to bring Phyllis to the next session. When Phyllis sat down, I asked her a simple question. Phyllis, when was the last time you told Leonard something difficult about your inner world and felt truly heard? Phyllis looked at Leonard. Then she looked at me. Then she started to cry. Last year, she said, I told Leonard that I was scared about getting older, that I felt invisible, that I worried my body was changing in ways I did not recognize. What did Leonard say? I asked. Phyllis wiped her eyes. He said, you should join a gym. You will feel better if you get stronger. Leonard looked shocked. That is good advice, he said. I was trying to help. I turned to Leonard and said something I want every man watching to hear. Leonard, she was not asking for a gym. She was asking for you to sit in the dark with her for a minute. She was asking you to say, I am scared too, but we are in this together. She was asking you to hold her hand while she cried. She was not asking for a solution to her fear. She was asking for a witness to her humanity. Leonard went very quiet. Then he looked at Phyllis and said something that changed their marriage. I am sorry. I did not know. I thought helping meant fixing. I did not know helping meant staying. That night, Leonard did something he had never done before. He sat with Phyllis on the couch. He took her hand. He said, tell me more about feeling invisible. I want to understand. And Phyllis talked for an hour about her body, about her fears, about feeling like the world had stopped seeing her. Leonard did not fix anything. He did not offer a single solution. He just listened. He just held her hand. He just stayed. And that night, for the first time in over a year, Phyllis reached for Leonard, not because he had solved her problems, because he had finally seen her. This is the third sign. She talks to you about her inner world, not because she wants you to fix it, because she wants you to witness it, because she wants to feel less alone inside her own mind, because she wants to know that the man beside her is a safe place for her vulnerability. And when she feels safe enough to share her fears, her sadness, her confusion, her doubts, her body will naturally want to be close to you. Because vulnerability, when it is held with tenderness, becomes intimacy. Let me bring these three signs together. She rests in your presence. She touches you in small, gentle ways. She shares her inner world without expecting you to fix her. These are not small things. These are not coincidences. These are the quiet, beautiful invitations of a woman who wants to be close to you. Not because she is trying to start something, not because she is performing desire, but because her nervous system finally feels safe enough to want. And if you learn to recognize these signs, and more importantly, if you learn to respond to them with patience, with presence, with warmth, without pressure, you will not have to chase her desire. Her desire will find you because you will have become someone she finally feels safe enough to want. Not someone she accommodates out of duty, not someone she gives into out of guilt, not someone she avoids out of exhaustion, but someone her body trusts. And trust, in a woman's nervous system, is the foundation of everything. Trust is what allows her to rest. Trust is what allows her to touch. Trust is what allows her to share her inner world. Trust is what turns a marriage from two people surviving the same life into two people who cannot keep their hands off each other. Not because of techniques, not because of tricks, not because of pressure, because of safety. So here's my invitation to you tonight. Stop looking for the obvious signs. Stop waiting for her to light candles or wear something lacy or use certain words. Just notice. Does she rest her body against yours? Does she touch you in small, gentle ways? Does she share her fears and hopes with you? If the answer is yes, she is already inviting you in. All you have to do is show up, without pressure, without performance, without demand, just presence. And let the rest unfold naturally. Soft piano music swells gently, warm, hopeful, deeply human. If what I shared today touched something in your heart, I hope you will subscribe. Not because of algorithms, but because there are more conversations like this to share about slowing down, about seeing each other, about the quiet, sacred work of becoming someone your partner feels safe enough to want. I will be here next time. Until then, watch for the small signs. And when you see them, do not rush. Just be near her. Just listen to her. Just let her feel how much you already love her without needing anything more.